listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Beauty and the Beast After Show.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
That's right. This is exactly what the starlet of the show did. Anyways, hello everybody and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. Big news for doing, and tonight, of course, Beasties, we are doing Beauty and the Beast. I'm your host, Alikona Bradford, and over here is...
Hi everyone, Paige Sullivan.
Yay!
Yay, episode 2.
I know, and how do we feel about episode 2?
It's getting better, but I'm liking Vincent less.
Exactly. This whole...
Less and less.
Thus far this season, I'm a little frustrated, a little irritated. With both characters, with both Vince and Kat, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking the plot. I'm liking where the show's going. I think it's very interesting, and there's a lot to be shown. I think we have a good season ahead of us.
Right.
And it's not just a love story anymore, which is what I like. But the actual love story is the part that I'm not loving about this season. I'm really disliking it.
I think that this is going to be a hard concept for Jay Ryan fans, Vincent, Kat fans to accept, because last season we fell in love with him and who he is. We fell in love with Kat and their story. And yeah, there were a lot of obstacles that were getting in their way, but those were external. Now he's the main obstacle. And that's the part that's...
And I have to remind people, though, you know, this is a CW show. And if you're familiar with CW shows, there are those epic loves, but they aren't always happy and they're not always up. You know, they're down. They all have downs. And so we cannot expect Vin Kat to always be together and to always be happy. This could go on the entirety of the season. It could.
Yes, it definitely could.
And, you know, they might not be together. And Kat may find somebody else to love for a little while. These are things that can happen. Yeah. And the way the season's progressing, I see them possibly happening.
Well, you know what's weird is at the very end of the episode, I know I'm jumping way ahead on you guys, but there was a moment between her and Gabe at the very end where she walked in and she was admitting that Vince was a little bit dangerous. And he was like, what's wrong? And I felt like I saw this tenderness in his eyes, and I thought, oh, wait.
No, see, I saw more of a friendship thing in that instance.
Oh, okay.
I think for him, it was like, finally, I'm gaining her trust. She's coming to me. You know, he was a bad guy for so long in their eyes that I think now for him, it's like, okay, you know, I'm a person now. I'm not just a beast to them. I'm somebody that can help. But not that I want it to happen, and not that it's going to happen right away, because even looking towards next episode, we see a lot of Kat and Vincent interaction. But just the way things are playing out, it is a possibility. And we always have to know that the writers can shock us, and we may not get the love we want.
Okay, so let's be real for just a second then. And I apologize, fans, I do. But do you think that this is something that potentially could cause the show to lose viewerships with people who getting like really frustrated with the direction it's going?
It could. I mean, but that you take a risk with that with anything. You could lose viewers just by having Vincent and Kat be happy all the time.
This is very true.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you wouldn't lose me as a viewer.
But, you know, it can get boring. It can get repetitive. If there is never bumps in the road for a couple, then it's also not realistic. Every couple goes through ups and downs. You know, it doesn't matter if you've been together a month or or 10 years.
True, but how often does your boyfriend get amnesia? I mean...
But that's the thing. You have to understand, these people, they already have this crazy epic love that with what their condition is, it's just amplified. It's just bigger than life. Everything about them is larger than life because of who Vincent is and because of who Kat is in relation to Vincent with her father and with her mother. So because of the circumstance, everything's bigger. And because it's TV, everything's bigger.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
But think about it in real life. I mean, relationships aren't all hunky-dory all the time. And if you're a Vin Kat fan, I mean, maybe you should just hop over to Team JT&T.
Hey, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit because I definitely have words on that. But let's just start with the beginning of the episode because we start off with Kat inviting Vince over to have a picnic on her rooftop. And personally, I mean, I didn't see it turning into anything, and it's sad. It's really sad to watch and see it play out, because you see this girl who in season 1 was just so hard and so emotionally
off.
Yes, and then this season, she is practically throwing herself at Vince, like, please remember me, remember us.
It reminds me of like a girl who's been broken up with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody knows that friend who's so desperate to get the guy back. And whereas Vincent doesn't know Kat, even if he did know Kat, you know, it still feels like he's just got that wall up and he's like, stop.
Right.
Like, you need to stop.
Right.
But how many times can you tell her she's eventually just going to have to hit a wall herself and be like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But watching her is painful, because I feel
very much so.
We've all seen somebody doing the same thing in real life, and it's like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
It's not going to end well. He doesn't want a sandwich. He doesn't want it.
No, and you know, that actually makes me feel like, okay, at first I was getting really angry with Vincent and just, oh, you're a jerk. But playing devil's advocate, you just pointed out something really good, is the fact that if you put yourself in his shoes and you really think about it.
He doesn't know her.
Yeah, some stranger kept coming up to you asking you, does this make a memory? Like, everything she did it trigger a memory? Did you remember something? No.
And when she's not doing that, she's interrogating him.
Exactly. And she really is. I know she's trying to help, but she's constantly question after question. And he's already telling her, like, back off.
Yeah, he does not know her. And she's like, but you know you can trust me. And
I don't.
You know,
I don't know you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he feels that he can trust her. He has the sense that he can trust her, and that she obviously wasn't lying in the boat because he read her, you know, her signs and whatever. But he does not know you, and he has no legitimate reason to trust you.
Yeah, yeah. I like the fact that when she was with him, well, I didn't like the fact, but she pointed out when they were on the rooftop at the very beginning, she was like, you smell? Okay, you just took a shower and you're wearing clean clothes. I thought she was trying to insinuate that maybe he had a date later on. I don't know if that was the girl in me. But then, of course, she turned cop on him and was like, well, obviously you have somebody providing you with a place to stay, buying you these clothes.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, here she goes again.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel bad for Vincent, and I feel bad for Kat. I know what it's probably like to be in Kat's shoes and wanting that love back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially because she had it, and it was so epic.
And it was never a goodbye. There was never like an end. It was just up in the air. Like, is he alive? When's he coming home? And now he's home, and guess what? He doesn't know who you are.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's really hard to deal with. But at the same time, do what's best for you in this situation.
But it's not like a typical amnesia situation of I just don't know who you are, but I don't know who you are, and I also have a secret life, and I'm doing things that are potentially illegal. And I'm trying to keep it from you, which makes it 10 times worse. Is it illegal?
Because I think he's working for the government.
Okay, well, even if it is illegal,
it's not
you
kosher.
Shouldn't be going around sniping people while they're in their jail cell and then imitating a doctor. Granted, I was impressed with the fact that he still had the knowledge to be a doctor, but at the same time,
I think it's weird when she asked him like what he remembers, and he said, you know, I remember, you know,
Nirvana.
Facts. Like, but he remembers facts, but
Yeah.
he doesn't remember anything about his personal life.
Right.
You know, he doesn't know his family or his friends, which also makes me sad. Like, he doesn't know that his brothers died in the trade tower, and like I just don't like that. He doesn't know JT. It's like those things don't really. I get why now we know why he was wiped to be like a warrior, to be a soldier. Like, he's been wiped clean so that he doesn't have those outside forces affecting the way he makes decisions. But it's sad to know that, you know, he's lived this long life. I feel like in his 30s-ish, and, you know, he just remembers facts.
Yeah. But at the same time, he was pretty much, if the storyline is fluid with him along with the person that he was hunting down tonight, he was purchased by somebody, if that's the case. And to
Kat's dad, I'm assuming, because
that makes sense. His dad to execute all those unlawful things that maybe they can't do as FBI, but he can do as a purchased soldier.
Yeah, because Kat's dad keeps saying, you know, he's working on his next thing. He's doing this thing. He's doing his research. He's doing this. He's doing that. So it seems as though he's the one giving Vincent the assignments.
But what a sad life to do that to somebody. You literally stole somebody's life. Haven't they already been through enough?
Yeah, I feel like maybe he looked at Vincent like a beast and not a person.
This is true.
But he does realize that his daughter is going to play a big part in this. And he says, is there any chance he's with my daughter? And they're like, no, we don't think so. And which he wasn't at the time.
Okay, but if you know that, okay, rewinding back to season 1, was he originally, well, no, they didn't wipe his, I guess, okay, am I stuttering much right now? going back to season 1, Vincent wasn't owned by anybody. He was Murfield. So when
he was
wiped,
in hiding. I mean, he wasn't with.
Well,
you know what I mean? They
yeah.
didn't really know. They were looking for him.
But during the whole 3-month break, basically, is when somehow he just got purchased by Kat's father, or was he already previously owned and somehow he didn't?
I think they knew.
know?
I think they found out of his whereabouts, and Kat's father wanted Vincent.
But why specifically Vincent?
I feel like there's a reason. I mean, Kat's mom created Vincent.
That's a good point.
You know,
That's a very good point.
There's all these different webs and that we don't really know about. We don't know how involved Reynolds was with everything. So we've just got a glimpse of him.
Right.
We don't really know who he is or his background to the extent that we know about Kat and Vincent. And
Right.
so maybe he said, I need this one for a reason. I need
Right.
Vincent for a reason. And, you know, took him. Like
possible.
maybe they said, you can have him if you can find him.
Right.
You know, because Muirfield kept trying to find him. But maybe that's why Muirfield was trying to find him, because they needed to give him to Reynolds. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah,
We don't
exactly.
know.
There's so many questions that are unanswered.
And so many
in this show.
options to how it could
Yeah.
have played out. But, yeah, I think he was purchased by... But then again, Kat's dad also seemed to be involved in the creation of Muirfield. So I
Right.
don't think he bought him. I think he's been selling other beasts, and he kept Vincent for himself.
That could make sense.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I don't know.
She's talking out of her butt. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it. Don't listen, Paige.
Yeah.
No, I'm totally kidding.
Only seen episode 2, so.
But also, too, I want to talk about when Vincent finally, he doesn't capture Kat because she's pretty much following him, stalking him, as he said it. And she is. She needs to learn how to back off a little bit because he's not defenseless. It's not like he's going to.
And she could get him killed. She's done this before,
Yeah.
where her
She gets
being
in the
there
way.
gets in the way. Not only that, like, if she was there, maybe his work would just decide to assassinate him because she keeps popping up.
Right.
And she doesn't care. Like, she doesn't, like, she's just throwing
She's being-
herself at him.
You know what's funny is it goes back with the theme of last season when she was being selfish, just in a different way. She's being selfish again. She just doesn't realize it.
Yeah. Granted, I
Yeah.
don't think the situation Vince is in is the best situation.
No, absolutely not.
But she's compromising him. She's putting him in danger and making his missions harder for him. So for in his perspective, it's kind of like, okay, stop.
Get out of my way.
You know, I need you to stop.
But he could have, she makes a very strong point. He could have killed her when he found her. Instead, he did the whole let me push on your neck and make you pass out thing, which is
But that's
quite
because
impressive.
he hears her heart. Did you hear him say that? Like, I always hear your heart.
Yeah. He was saying there's just a strong pull
Right.
that comes from her.
Because even later in the club, he hears her heart.
Right.
So I think that's another sign to him. That's why he keeps coming back and, like, trying to see if there's something there, is because he hears that. And I don't think he necessarily has that kind of pull to everybody else.
But at the same time, I don't think he's really trying to remember. Or maybe, you know what it is? I feel like the second he decides to allow himself to be vulnerable and be like, okay, I'm going to try to remember, then she goes and starts interrogating him again. And he's like, you know what? Skirt.
Yeah.
Back up.
And he's like, I have to go to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, because, I mean, she's asking too much too soon. It's almost like a first date. It's like, okay.
She just wants stuff to be back to the way it was in the beginning, just right now.
It's like literally going on a first date and being like, your social security number, okay, your birth certificate, thank you. It's like asking for all of this information when it's not really hers to know.
Right.
What gives her the right? In his eyes, you know, I'd be like,
exactly.
What gives you any right to know anything about me?
But at the same time, okay, and I get it from that perspective that you're talking about, but when he does kidnap her and he has her blindfolded, like, really? That part, I was getting a little frustrated with him, honestly.
He probably doesn't want her to see where he lives, what he's doing. I mean, it's probably an easy way to keep control of her until he finishes his mission, and then I think he was going to let her go. I don't think he was going to, like, keep her there. I think it was more of like, I'm going to keep you here because you're getting in my way.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to let you go.
Right.
I don't think it was like a mean thing.
It was just hard to watch because he was so cold. And again, I understand why, but it doesn't mean that it's easy to swallow.
I feel like he was less cold this episode. I honestly think he was really trying to warm up to her and give her the effort that she was looking for. It's just not in him. It's just not there.
Yeah, let me just put forth this effort and take off my clothes and put you in my bed and then forget who you are and then go off and do a mission later.
I really disliked that. I was telling Alikona.
Yes.
I really disliked.
Preach it, Paige.
I really didn't like that. I just feel like this girl, you know how committed she is to you. It's just like, I'll refer back to like a breakup. It's like she wants that kiss. She needs that kiss to show her that you still care. And when you kiss her, it's like starting all over again. It's like setting the reset button, you know? And it's like she is back in that relationship. And it's like, do you remember? And she's stupid for doing it, but it's like, do you remember? He's like, nope, but let's try again anyways.
Right,
like,
let's get naked and just,
He's a man. I mean,
and,
any man would just want to have sex with a girl who's willing to have sex with him. But it's just like, this girl, like, the second you do this,
she cares about you.
It's going to kill her when you don't care.
Yes. And if your senses are that heightened while you guys are doing your business,
you
I'm
know
sure
how much it matters.
Yeah, you could probably feel the way her emotions are flooding, or her heartbeat, or whatever senses you can sense. I'm pretty sure he can tell. So why are you continuing to do this?
I still see it as like taking advantage. I know I said this last episode.
Yeah.
I feel like he's taking advantage of her vulnerability, and I don't like it, and I wouldn't like it from any guy. And so I don't care that it's Vincent. I don't care that we love Vincent. I don't like how he is kissing her and falling into it.
Yeah.
When if he really doesn't want it to be something,
he
needs to stop it. But that's
typical
along,
guy behavior.
Yeah,
though.
but it's along the lines of thinking. I think it's the writer's way of saying like maybe he's trying. Where to me, it's like maybe he is trying because he does show back up on her roof later in the episode and he says sorry and he wants to do the picnic. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she just pushes too hard. But at the same time, it's like, why don't you do the picnic first and sex later?
Yes.
Like I don't.
But at the same time, okay, I think I don't know what the writers are doing, but it's also giving us fans who are
into the sex,
not into, you know what, you prevert, not into the sex, into the whole romance of the two of them together. It was an opportunity for us to be able to see them together in that type of situation again. And for that moment, we were excited because we thought just for that moment that maybe things were going to fall back into place and somehow magically he was going to remember.
Right.
So when she asks and he says no, that's when you're like, oh.
But the kiss was very passionate.
It was.
The last kiss, I mean, it was like, ooh, okay. And it's like there's obviously that connection between the two of them because you can't kiss somebody you don't want to kiss.
Well, you can. It just doesn't look.
It doesn't look that good. You know what I mean? Like you know the difference between kissing like somebody who you're like, okay, like when you're thinking about it in your head, you're like, this isn't that fun.
No,
I'd rather be like drinking some coffee somewhere. I mean,
tying my shoes.
Yeah, I didn't see that in them. I really saw passion. And I think it's him, fighting for what she wants him to be and her fighting to bring him back. But it's just they crush you. But maybe that's what they want. They want you to feel what Kat's feeling and feel crushed.
Yeah. So then he ups and goes, pieces out, ties her back up. Oh, and it is smart in a sense because we know obviously the Kat's a little nosy.
And she shows up anyway. So.
But you know what? Knock her out and put her back home or something. Do you really need to?
He was busy. He had things to do.
She made a valid point. What if she had to pee? Just sit there?
Hey, you got to hold it.
Well, that's not cool.
It's not cool, but it is what it is. I was actually, I was like, she probably should pee after sex because that's what the doctor,
there it goes.
That's what the doctors say to do. That's what I literally thought. And I was like, seriously, Vincent, you should let her go to the bathroom. She's going to get sick. But,
okay.
feces. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure that's not what you were thinking.
It's
we're
okay.
grown adults. But I liked where the episode went. Outside of the romantic part, stepping outside of Vincent and Kat, I do like that there's now, we know, another beast. I like that there's a bigger storyline here of people being bought, people being trained as assassins, drug lords.
Yeah.
When we say Vincent sniped a guy in the jail cell, he gave him something to make him seize and then just to get his guy out of him. So he wanted to know, who is your guy? And so so the guy in jail hired the other beast, correct, to kill that girl. And so I just want to make sure I'm getting it all right. His name was Carlos. Her name was Gina. I don't remember the other guy's name.
There's another guy's name.
The beast, I don't know his name. But the beast was bought from Zhao. But, I think it's interesting because now it brings in things like, we might not be focusing on small petty crimes in New York. Now we might be focusing on a bigger thing, bigger scale, international, drug lords, things of that nature, which I find very interesting. And I feel like that's what's keeping me interested in the show this season as opposed to the relationship.
Right. Well, I found it interesting also, too, that I fell in the loop just with Kat as far as thinking that Vincent was going to kill this girl, Gina. Too. I totally thought that he was going. And then I'm thinking, really? You're going to do this in the middle of a club in the VIP section?
Yeah.
And
so did he kill Zhao, though? Do you think he killed Zhao?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But so he is an assassin, though.
Oh, yes. Okay. He's definitely an assassin. He just wasn't going for the girl.
But you know how in the preview they showed him like in the hospital, like in the jail, killing that guy seizing, and then on the stretcher, and then the girl. Like it made it look like he was just out to get people. they really got me good on that one.
Yeah.
Because I did think what you were thinking. He's just going to kill this girl.
For what? Yeah. Because she was connected to the guy, the drug lord guy. Or at least that's what I thought.
She's a family friend, so I don't think she's involved. She's a nurse.
But she was actually bait. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to cut this conversation really quick and go to the club scene because I thought it was a nice little bit of humor, which we got little bits of humor here and there, and I'll talk about more of that later. But when Gabe walked into the club and Kat's like, you know about this underground club? And I'm assuming that he got them in because he knew somebody or whatever. And he's talking about how, I used to be cool once in this life. I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was funny to me.
I like Gabe.
I do like Gabe.
I think he's a nice guy. I think, when you're a beast and you're that desperate to live, he was dying. Or not dying, but he was beasting and couldn't control it, which is basically like
he wasn't thinking clearly.
Yeah, he wasn't in his right mind. And so, he'd had a really rough life. Not that it excuses trying to kill Vincent, but get a feel for the guy.
But at the same time, too, it's possible, and I could be totally wrong, but you could have a different mentality when you are a beast, and because he was a different species.
It's like survival mentality.
Exactly. It's a different species than Vincent was. Vincent was capable of loving and having more of a heart, if you will. Not that Gabe didn't, because he had his love interest as well, but like you said, he seemed so much more animalistic even when he was a beast. So now that we see the softer, gentler side of him, not only mentally but physically and also now emotionally, because he does seem so much more human, and all he wants right now is just acceptance.
Gabe. Well, now he's a human. Like before it was like being a beast and trying to be accepted. Now he's a human and he's still not accepted. It's like, why am I a human?
Yeah, well, and the one person he wants that acceptance from is Kat
and Tess a little bit, but
I
mostly
like
Kat.
Tess by force is letting him in because obviously they work together.
She's still like, you're a beast. Speaking of beasts, like she does stuff like that.
She was angry this whole episode, and rightfully so.
Yeah. When your best friend, it's just like with the breakup scenario. I'm going to keep going back to it. When you see your friend repeating behavior that's going to hurt them, it's so hard to sit back and be like, okay, do what you have to do. Yeah. Even though that's what they're going to do, you try and stop them and you don't agree with it. Yeah. And she feels like she's lost her best friend because Kat is consumed with this idea of saving Vincent. Yeah. Poor Tess, but she looks great.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
She looks great. Her hair.
Like, great hair, great brows. Get it, girl.
She just, and in general, I think I like her more now that she's not with Joe because I really didn't like the whole infidelity thing.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So now, not that I didn't like Tess, but when you find out somebody's sleeping with a married man and she knows about it, it's kind of like, where are your morals at? Yeah. You know what I mean? So I like Tess now a lot more than I did the previous season, and I feel for her.
Yeah, and it's typical best friend jealousy behavior, but cute and not cute at the same time. How there was the argument, she's feeling like JT almost stole her best friend a little bit, and how she's going crazy over the password situation. The
nutty professor.
Yeah. Poor girl.
And the fast food wrappers.
Yeah. But I mean, everybody, I'm sure you guys can identify with it back in school or what have you, when you have a best friend who all of a sudden is befriending somebody else.
No. That's my best friend. FYI, that's my best friend. Yeah. You can hang out with them.
But that's my best friend.
And
that's exactly what was going on. And I thought it was cute.
But I love how JT's like, no. I'm not. She's your best friend. Yeah. I'm not taking her.
But I love, we're going to skip to the end to the humor, and that's okay because I love it. I loved the ending with her and JT. I feel like they almost had a truce indirectly.
Tess and JT?
Yeah.
And she goes, maybe I'll be on your team, or, I'll side with you.
Yeah. And how, what was their interaction? Oh, he pointed out to her, at least your best friend remembers who you are.
Because they're both.
Great points.
Yeah, they're both missing their best friends right now.
Yeah.
So,
and he's going to share his antacids.
Yeah. I know. I wrote down, I was like, he's taking a lot of Tums. I put that down in my notes. So
I didn't even notice that.
Well, I'm a tum popper myself.
Oh,
so,
okay. Secret facts about Paige you
didn't
know.
Well, mine's just due to acid reflux, less to stress-induced acid reflux, like JT seems to be. But I was like, oh, okay, wow, he's really. And I love how Kat's like, did you just pop one of those? Did you just put one of those in your mouth? Like when they were like, she like was telling him stuff. But I feel like. Well, I don't feel like Austin tweeted something like, what do you guys think on the East Coast? Like, spoiler alert, hashtag JT&T or something like that. And I hadn't watched yet. And I was like, and I was like, does something happen? And nothing really happened per se, like with JT and Tess. But I think this is like foreshadowing. And really, it's the start of a nice friendship, which may lead to the relationship we're all looking for.
I think that's going to be so awesome and amazing. I'm really excited for that. And I hope something happens between them. I really do.
And I also really like, in general, how everybody's friends right now. You know, I felt like there was a point where it was like Tess and Kat were fighting, and JT and Vincent were fighting, and even Kat and Vincent and Kat and JT. And so now it's more like they're like a group who are sticking together, even with Gabe. Minus Vincent, but add Gabe in, who are like really trying to work together and be friends. And I think that's what people are drawn to in a show, is relationships that they can relate to. And these are relationships we can all relate to. Yeah. Maybe not the beastie kind, but...
Not quite, but you know, I'm sure we all have some sort of monster in our lives. I think we were talking about in season 1, was it he represented just men in general or something along the lines, you know, I'd have to go back.
Like
yeah, exactly. There you go.
And now it's representing
baggage
breakups.
Is a whole lot.
Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of different dynamics going on. There's a lot to work with.
And then we see at the very end, after all this is gone, well, you know what, let's talk about, we mentioned lightly the club scene and the girl Gina, and then now there's another beast.
Yeah.
How many do you think there are?
I think there's a lot. I don't think a lot. Like, I don't think they're just walking around hanging out, but I think there's a handful.
There could be like just a whole, to me, a whole unit of soldiers, if you will. Mm-hmm. And if this is interplanetary, or I should say international, then that's
and also
huger.
We learned, you know, when we met Gabe, there's other kinds of beasts. And so they could have very easily taken somebody like Gabe, wiped their memory, and made them a super soldier, because they still had Zhao, they still had Muirfield going on. They were probably still making different kinds of things to make different kinds of people.
That's true.
And so Vincent was a version. So maybe if all the soldiers he died with, or that they thought Vincent died with, you know, were one kind, you know, there's still other kinds that were in the works.
Now, did Gabe's girlfriend disappear? She disappeared, or did she die?
She was killed, I thought.
She was killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last season.
Forgive my lack of memory.
I know, it's so hard after the summer. But yeah, she was killed. But please don't rip me apart if I'm wrong, but I forget. It's like I get so engrossed in one episode that like when you try and make me bring up facts from another episode, I'm like,
no.
But I'm almost positive she was killed. And I just really, I'm kind of glad, because then, you know, she was kind of evil. She wasn't even a beast, and she was trying to kill Vincent.
She was a something, because remember there was something on her back.
She had that big scar down her back. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe Gabe and someone will hook up.
I hope so. I hope he finds love.
I was going to say Gabe and Heather, but Heather's on leaving eventually.
She is. I know she'll be in the next episode a little bit.
Yeah.
But
she's exiting.
Either way, let's wrap the end of this episode and talk about the final note. Literally, the final note of the roof. And then it's one more time of us having to endure Kat
throwing yourself at him.
For lack of better words, pitiful. It's so pitiful. It's so sad.
And then she's so aggressive. It's like, okay, first off, you're pitiful. And then
it's like as soon as he gives her an inch, she wants to run a mile.
It's like she is like pushing so hard. It's like when one of those girls comes on super strong at the bar and the guy's like, okay, I just bought you a drink. I don't want to marry you. It's like something like that. Yeah. It's like, she's like, oh, well, this, and this. And somebody bought this guy. And so were you bought by somebody? Because Muirfield's gone. Yeah. And like, who are you? It's like,
and he just agreed to a first date. Yeah, take the date.
And
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Mm-mm. Work on your romance. Work on your building your relationship.
And the information will come.
Exactly. Be patient.
It'll come. If you want him to trust you, let him trust you. Give him the trust. Stop following him. If you want somebody to trust you, you don't follow them.
And don't insult a man and tell him that you need me. Because he's like, I don't need you.
Yes, don't insult anybody. Well, nobody needs anybody.
In general, but I'm just saying, you know, earlier in the episode, she had made mention of the fact that when he tied her up for what? Because obviously I'm not going to outrun you. You're stronger than me. You're faster than me, and you can sense me. So yes, he is. He is all of these things. So obviously he knows that he's a super powerful being. And then at the end to turn around, and it's an insult to say, you need me here to protect you. Yeah. And she means it obviously from the intelligence, maybe detective
help. Yeah.
You know, but as it is, I don't want you around, and then for you to sit there and say that, and him to turn around and go, I don't even know who you are. And he straight up beasted out and pushed her.
And he said, you know, it was just one night, because she says everything we've done. And I think she really, really, really needs to get in the mindset that he doesn't know me. Yeah. Act like we're just meeting, because I still think they have a connection. I still think they could fall in love all over again. But you cannot ask things of him that he cannot give you. That is not fair. And she's saying, we can have our firsts again, and we can have our first kiss and our first date. You're asking too much. It's like you're just meeting this guy.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, and for him, especially where he's like, there's this girl, she's telling me I don't know my life, I don't know my best friend, I don't know anything, and I'm a killer, and there's Beast, and I'm bot, and all this stuff. That in itself is just so overwhelming. And then to be like, and now we're in love, and I'm your girlfriend, and da-da-da-da. It's like, you can't, like with somebody with amnesia, you can't just throw that on them. It's so much. It's too much. Yeah. I feel bad for him. I feel he shouldn't have beasted on her. I don't think he meant to.
But I hate to say this, but I will say I feel like she needed that. She needed that piece of reality, because without it, she's obviously very stubborn and very hard-headed. She wasn't going to absorb anything he was saying, but the fact that he did it finally made her realize, I am not the man you think I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's like, I just met you.
Yeah.
I think she definitely needed it. She is going to work now with Tess and Gabe and JT and stop trying to do it alone. And stop following him.
She needs to, and that was a theme of the beginning half of the show, as far as she was trying to do everything by herself constantly, and that goes along with being the stubborn person, going on her own. Here's JT trying to work with her, which she continued to communicate with him via phone, but when Tess and Gabe are trying to help, she's straight up avoiding them, trying to lie and deter them so she can do it on her own, because she thinks she knows better, because she knows that Vince won't hurt her.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Maybe not, but you're pushing a lot of buttons.
Yeah, she's pushing a lot of buttons, and I think she just has to step back and say, what would I do if I was Vincent? How would I feel if I was Vincent? I think that's important, and she's not doing that.
I think empathy has not been a
strong trait for her.
Yeah. I'm not Catherine hating. I feel like I am, and I'm really not.
But I'm not Catherine hating either. I feel bad for Catherine, and I feel like the situation she's in, it really sucks. But as anybody looking on the outside in, you just want to shake her and say, this is, you need to step back.
Yeah.
You need to do what's good for you. It's not that I think she's being bad or anything like that, or like being mean. I think she has great intentions, but everybody has good intentions. Or not everybody. Some people don't have good intentions, but we know she has good intentions. You just have to maybe now find a different way to achieve them. Yeah. You can't just go about it the way you're going right now, because it's not working.
Agreed.
But I am interested to see kind of where this plot of her father and the buying of the Beast thing goes. And I'm also excited about Tess and JT. Kat and Vincent, I honestly
I'm sorry. Let's just stop the show and pause for 1 second.
For Tess and JT?
What did you just say?
I'm excited for Tess and JT.
You're what?
Excited.
You're excited. Oh, okay. Woo! Okay, because, last season when I was excited about Tess and JT, this one over here was giving me dirty looks.
I wasn't giving dirty looks. I didn't see it then, because they didn't like each other, and she was obsessed with Joe, and JT didn't really care to talk to Tess. This season, they've grown. Relationships have developed, friendships between all of them. At the beginning, I never saw JT and Kat working together either. But, circumstances bring the unlikely people together.
Don't worry. Don't mind me. I'm just wallowing in my, I knew it.
Yeah, I because the thing is, they're funny. They're like the comic relief. So
that's why I like them together, though.
It would be nice to see them together. And now that it is happening, I'm excited for that, because too much of Kat and Vincent is just like, it's drama.
Yeah.
It's drama. It's like right now it's so heavy on the heart that it's nice to have the lightheartedness.
Something flourishing outside of something falling apart.
You still need that relationship. That's what keeps this show going. But Jess,
That's
JT
the new hashtag.
Jess or JT&T, they really they bring the lightheartedness. They keep me laughing, and when things get rough, because we are about to see a really bad thing between Kat and Vincent go down on the roof, you get that little spark of hope, and then
that cute smile. Oh, that was. I'm referring to JT, by the way, but there was a moment where it was a smile, and I felt like a glimmer in the eyes. I could be reading too deeply, but
No,
whatever.
I know. I think it was very interesting. I'm excited to see where the characters go.
I would like to see, in a perfect world, I would like to see them on a double date.
Oh, yeah. Well, when Vincent's back.
Yeah. Ideally, this is what I would like. I would like to be able to just have one of those moments where you just hit him over the head with a frying pan, and then it just all comes back.
Yeah.
It's probably not likely, but,
I don't think that's going to happen.
Either way. All right. Well, I think we've broken down this week's episode pretty well, so why don't we get into some news and gossip?
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so I know I have a couple of pictures that I looked up on the internet just for fun. I'm sure I can make up a story to go with each of them. So if our engineer could pull those up that I sent her. But while she's doing that, I will say that I looked up some information on episodes to come.
Here's your first picture.
Oh, okay. First picture is going to be, this is back, I'm not even going to make up where this is. But I will say that the reason I picked this picture is because it's Jay Ryan, and if you look over to his left, our left, excuse me, is his wife. Or they're not married yet, but girlfriend, and I'm assuming a bunch of friends, and this is back home. But I just thought it was really cool to see them in a relaxed environment and to see them together, because I feel like we didn't really get to see a lot of them. I knew he had a girlfriend, and I knew that she was a well-known writer. I didn't realize how well-known she is back home, but she's done a lot of stuff back home as far as plays and what have you, and maybe later we'll show you a clip of some of her work. But that's one picture, and then there should be some two more that I pulled up. This is from next week's episode. Based on this picture, I don't know, we can make our own assumptions, predictions, but there are people dancing in the background. So, I don't know. I just liked the picture. I thought maybe our viewers would enjoy it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice. I know you BCs go crazy for these guys, so I'm sure you see them online, and you've probably seen them already. But always send us stuff. You guys have our Twitter handles. If you find it interesting.
Oh, I pulled this one up because I was like, whoa, guys. This is from season 1. The picture just changed on us, but whoa. That's the only thing I thought of when that one pulled up. I don't even know what I put in the search handle, but I figured
you put whoa.
Yeah, that's exactly why I put it, and that's what came up.
Yeah, but send us stuff because you guys are so good about finding things that
and I want to send my apologies because we did have somebody via Twitter that was supposed to be tweeting us a couple of questions, and I forgot my phone at home, so I do apologize. Normally, I would have it right here, and I would totally answer your questions. So
next
so sorry.
week. Yeah,
next week. Yeah. Promise. Okay,
yeah.
So going back to what I have a little bit of, this is just about some other people coming up. Let's see who I have.
Should we give them a spoiler alert or?
It's not so much of a spoiler alert if I can find it. Kat has met her has not met her biological dad. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to figure out where I had some other people coming up, but it's somewhere deep within my notes. So why don't we just go to? Did I have any other pictures?
I don't think so, but we have, we're saving something for you to send you out on that. It's very funny. I guess we'll preface it. It's a really funny clip from a one-man show that Jay Ryan was in when he was living in New Zealand. Yeah, it's kind of old, so if you haven't seen it, it's another side of Jay Ryan that is very theatrical and over the top, and you told me his wife, or girlfriend, I apologize, his girlfriend wrote the play, and so it shows that he's not just the only superstar in that family because, you know, we have to credit the writers for Beauty and the Beast for every show that we love because they are the ones who create these things. So his wife seems oh my goodness, his girlfriend seems just as talented as he is. So we will send you out on that because it's funny and it's interesting and it's good to see these people in different roles to know kind of who they are.
Exactly. And what they're capable of, because it definitely shows us a very different side of Jay Ryan.
Yeah, that we don't get to really see on this show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why don't we go into our predictions so that way we can send you guys out with that video.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right, paper, rock, scissors. Who wants to go first?
Oh, really?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
okay, if you guys are listening, Paige and I both just drew scissors, and I feel like she did it 2 seconds after I pulled my scissors, so she's cheating.
Because I didn't think about it. You go first then.
Okay, so this is what I think is going to happen. Looking at that picture with the whole dance thing going on, I don't know. I'm just going to make something crazy up, if you will. That's obviously something very formal. I feel like quite possibly maybe we will get to see Dad. I do believe Heather is going to be a little bit more in this episode, so I don't know if maybe finally Kat will get to find out who her real dad is, or if not find out who he is, at least find out the fact that the dad she thought was Dad is not Dad.
Right.
Once that happens, I think that's going to throw her for a loop because of the fact that somebody you trusted so much has been lying to you, and not only him, but how many other people have been in it, because obviously Mom was in it, and Mom hid so much from her just from the get-go, being involved in Murfield, creating Vincent. There's just so many things that at that point that really messes with your trust.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a theme going on into the future. I'm curious to see how Heather is going to exit the show because we know she's not going to be here for the entire season. I don't know why she would move unless her and Kat got into a really big fight, or maybe she got accepted in some sort of grad school.
Or like a job opening. I mean, you never know. Something could come up.
That's possible.
I'm also interested to see how Heather exits the show. I think next week Kat's going to take a step back. I think she's going to see, okay, this isn't working. And I think we're going to see a whole different Ben Kat going on. I think she's really going to reel it in and come at it from more of a police view, more of a detective view, you know?
Yeah.
This is what is the facts, and this is how to accomplish what I need to accomplish. And I think we'll learn more about Reynolds. But I don't have anything else. I really just feel like it's going to focus on changing around the dynamics.
So really quick, I'm going to ask you for your hashtag, and then we're going to, not hashtag, excuse me, your Twitter handle.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Sullivan.
And I'm Alikona Bradford. You can follow me at Kiss My Passport. And we will leave you with this quite interesting video of Mr. Jay Ryan.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Maybe we'll give you our commentary. Sounds like he's orgasming or in pain.
You've got the spirit of the dingo in you.
We love the song.
Yeah. Don't worry, there's more to come, guys. Like we said, this is a one-man show, but it is work from his girlfriend.
Pick it up, pick it up. Come on now, space man.
Obviously can be very animated, guys, so let us know what you thought about the video.
Yes, please. By all means, tweet us and leave us your comments. We'll continue the conversation, and next week we can talk about it more. So thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. Again, I'm Alikona Bradford, and this is the beautiful and wonderful Paige Sullivan. Tune in next week, and we will see you then. Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.